Kyron was a bright star. He had an incredible personality. I'll remember him as somebody that had a love for the game, a love for being a Tiger, and was a guy that played with great emotion. When you think of Kyron, you're going to smile most of the time because of the way he handled himself. He was a guy that was full of energy, and I think a lot of his teammates will remember him that way as well.
And we say good morning to you on April the 16th, day after tax day, here back in the saddle doing Tigers Roar. Buddy Songy, as always, across the way with our co-host and producer, Jonathan Poche. I hope everybody doing well. Look, it's been a while since we've been with you. Had an inordinate amount of crazy stuff happening, but we are good to go on this hump day here in the capital city of Baton Rouge. LSU baseball just took care of business, taking down Louisiana Tech last night, 10-3. And, of course, LSU hosting Alabama this weekend for a 3-game set out at the box. That starts tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You heard BK. The sunglasses are on the face and for a couple of reasons. Number one, everybody in the Tiger Nation certainly feeling the pain and agony of losing Kyron Lacey. Of course, that is who Coach Kelly was addressing. The young man had a lot of ups and downs and unfortunately lost his life this past weekend. And so, JP, we had BK after practice yesterday. We'll get into a little bit of that. Jay Johnson meeting the media later today. Beth Tarina and softball trying to get back up and running and winning. And the Lady Tiger Gymnastics, once again now, Thursday, Saturday, they've got a chance to win a natty. They've got to advance. They're in a group with 4, the top 2 in each of the 4 groupings. Will make it to the Final Four on Saturday. That kind of gives you an update. But, JP, good to see you. Good to talk with you. And we start off by talking about the bad news and the shock of losing Kyron Lacey over the weekend.
Oh, Bud, man, great to see you. Happy to have you all here witnessing first Tigers Roar in a while. Happy to be back in the South, just like Budman said. It's tough to start off with this topic on Tigers Roar. Just heartbreaking for the whole family. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, a 24-year-old man. I truly just wish, Budman, that he would have thought about Jesus Christ in that moment. You're never too far gone. You're never too far away. You can't always come back home to the cross. No matter what mistakes you've made, you're never by yourself. And I truly breaks my heart for the family to have so much pride in your cousin, your son, your brother, a D1 superstar, a guy that was going to go play in the NFL, a guy that thought that his mistakes were going to overwhelm him. And unfortunately, there was a gun involved. And yeah, all of our hearts are broken. Obviously, what he did on the football field was amazing, but all those players in the locker room that were friends, close to personal friends with Kyron Lacey, they're going to have to work through this. And I coach a lot of young kids, and we see that kids have trouble regulating their emotions. And we see these guys playing on TV, playing on ESPN for LSU. It's a semi-pro league now. They're all getting paid. So I think a lot of times we put these college athletes on a pedestal. We think that they have it all figured out, and that's just really not the case. We're all human. We all sin. So I would ask you, if you're out there and you are persuasion of faith, please say a prayer for Kyron Lacey's family for comfort, and have the Lord just lift them up, keep them close to him. And that's really all I can say about that, man.
Yeah, everybody at Pelican Sports Radio and TV certainly giving our heartfelt regrets and wishes for those that family members. We do not have funeral arrangements at this point, but still, please put Kyron Lacey and his family in your prayers. Back to the football side of it, it was not an actual spring scrimmage. It was an open practice. JP, it was set up in a way where it was really hard to keep statistics. It was a lot of situational stuff. Nuss did overthrow a lot of guys that were open, but look, it's early on. I say it's early. You worry about that in fall camp more so than spring. A lot of new names, 10 or 11 guys not out there because of injuries. But that being said, JP, we get into the nuts and bolts of this LSU football team, and I think everybody out there listening understands the enormous opportunity to start the season off the right way. It is hard to believe, folks, that LSU and your favorite football program just bringing home the Natty, 6 years ago. It's hard to believe that they have lost 5 consecutive opening games. And so Clemson and LSU are going to kick it off on August the 30th. JP, I'm hoping for a night game. Ohio State and Texas are slated to play at 11 o'clock that morning. And I kind of like this home and home. Now, they've got their rendition and version of Death Valley. LSU's got theirs. And we will see all of the build-up. But to me, coming out of spring after we went out there, Mike and I went out there to every practice that we have availability to. I think, JP, it's time that we address you are replacing a first-round pick, and Will Campbell looks like he's going to go anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
No worse than 9 or 10 at left tackle, and Big 5-0 Emory Jones at right tackle. So you've got 2 guys that haven't played. I know Tyree Adams played a little bit last year. We know Weston Davis played a little bit, but those guys don't have the skins on the wall. And so we start off about the offensive line, and Mike and I have come to the conclusion that this LSU football team is going to rely on that offensive line. And last year, let's be honest, they probably underperformed a little bit, JP.
Yep, completely agree. There was talk about the Joe Moore Award earlier in the season that this offensive line had that as their expectation. They thought they were going to be really good, and unfortunately, that just wasn't the case, especially not only in pass protection, but run blocking down the red zone. LSU bogged down by the goal line often last year. We see making some changes. Juwan Johnson maybe taking some reps at quarterback now the red zone. I didn't mind the scrimmage for the not having a real spring game, but actually a controlled practice because the coaches got to evaluate just how they wanted to evaluate these players. Obviously, there's a lot of new moving pieces up and down the board. Offensive line, secondary, on defense. I'm not worried at all about Nussmeier. We know what he can put on the field. We've seen the caliber of player that he already is. Expecting to make another jump this season. But, yeah, that offensive line is going to be key. You'll hear Brian Kelly a little bit later on in this program talk about the interior of his line, how he feels he has 5 or 6 guys that he just has to find which ones work best with the other, the right combination. He likes the depth of the offensive line, likes the running back room. Obviously, Nussmeier's back. He's going to be the engine that makes the car go for this offense. But the wide receivers are stacked, Bud, man. Obviously, you add a couple tight ends and with Trey Green. Defense is going to rush the quarterback. That's been evident throughout this spring. I know you and Mike have been doing some great practice reviews, and I've been watching a lot of them on YouTube. And, going to be able to get out the quarterback. Obviously, you have some guys that are missing, huge pieces of this defense. Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, and alike haven't been out there much lately. So ready to get those guys back. LSU has a lot of expectations, spent a lot of money in the transfer portal, had the #1 transfer portal class. So that just puts more expectations on this 2025-2026 season. Have to get off to a good start, Bud, man. Cannot lose the 5th year in a row going 0-1. Just can't do it. And I like the home games, as you mentioned, but when is LSU going to get the home game first, right? When are they going to be in Death Valley in Baton Rouge first and then travel to play a good opponent? No, that remains to be seen. But expectations are high. Obviously, you don't want to start the year off like this with losing a former teammate in Kyron Lacey. But a lot to be excited about for the LSU Tigers here moving forward.
Yeah, you said it earlier, JP. LSU is loaded for bear at wide receiver. You know about Xavier Thomas, #0. You know about Aaron Anderson, #1. You know about Chris Hilton, #3. Kyle Parker, who played a little bit last year, got hurt, #12. Has been in a red jersey, limited contact, looks good. Barrion Brown, #6, a speedster from Kentucky. This young man has already returned 5 kickoffs for touchdowns. And Nick Anderson, coming over from Oklahoma, he was hurt. But a couple years ago, he caught 31 balls, but 10 were for touchdowns. Big wide receiver in red zone. You mentioned Trey Green. Look, if you're like me, you want to see Trey Green catching the football, not blocking. They will ask him to block, so he's got to get bigger and stronger this summer. But Bauer Sharp, number 10, over from Oklahoma,
Yep.
and Donovan Green, number 88, over from Texas A&M. I think you're going to see a lot more 12 and 13 personnel, in case you don't know that.
Yep.
12 is 2 tight ends, 13 is 3 tight ends. And you made a great point earlier, JP. Got to be able to play smash mouth and get the football in the end zone from inside the 10, inside the 5. And you also mentioned Juwan Johnson. I think at this point it's probably advantageous to think that LSU might, in fact, have a run-pass option for him inside the red zone. Very good athlete. The only problem with that is that everybody in the stadium probably knows he's going to keep the football, but we'll see what happens. But from the offensive standpoint, plenty of skill, good depth on the offensive line. We'll see how it works out. And Nuss, of course, only the second LSU quarterback last year ever to have 4,000 yards passing in one season. Even Jaden Daniels didn't have that. I think he had 39-something. But, from an offensive standpoint, there's a lot of potential as we've alluded to, as long as you take care of business at the line of scrimmage, JP.
Yeah, and Barry and Brown, guy coming from Kentucky, obviously he can fly. You mentioned the 5 kick returns for touchdowns, and that's going to be a huge part of this game or the season for LSU, is that special teams unit. Got to be reliable place kicking, obviously, but the punt has to be better. The punt coverage has to be better. And some electric returns from the return guys would absolutely help this offense, not only field position, but they could put up some points. And let that offense rest, that offensive line. You don't want to show your hand early, so I don't mind not really asking Coach about, the wide receivers getting handoffs like a Debo Samuel used to do for the San Francisco 49ers. Zay Thomas, Aaron Anderson, find ways to get them the football, be creative. And I'm looking forward to it, but man, like you mentioned it, plethora of talent across the board for LSU. It's going to be hard to find the football for all the guys that do deserve to get action in the game. Running back room is going to be stacked. Harlan Berry, he's looking pretty good as a freshman. Still needs to gain some weight, obviously out of St. Martin's High School in Metairie, Louisiana, a 1A school, but he looked like he was head and shoulders above everybody he played against, which is how it's supposed to be when you're that caliber athlete. Guy hasn't played a lot of tackle football, Bud, man. He's a basketball player growing up, a lot of AAU ball, so very comfortable around bigger guys, can see the field differently. The guy's very shifty, but he can just see where open spaces are, able to get cuts. And excited to see Harlan Belly, obviously, but like I mentioned, got to put on some weight. I think it's like 180 right now. Got to be closer to 190 if you want to run the ball in the SEC and actually, pick up that blitzing linebacker on passing down. So, lots of talent, lots to look forward to, lots of new pieces, lots of new toys for Coach Brian Kelly and these coordinators to use week in and week out. So, hopefully, everybody gets back healthy. Obviously, Harold Perkins with weeks. Those are the headlines of guys that we have to get back in action. But looking forward to seeing these transfers at the defensive edge, Bud, man. Peyton from Florida State and then Pyburn from Florida. Those guys get after it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if you did go to the open scrimmage, you saw that there were quite a few sacks from the outside. Jack Pyburn, number 44, coming over from Florida. He is going to be a vocal leader. You're going to love him on Saturday nights in Tiger Stadium. Of course, Gabriel Relaford said, "Don't sleep on me." He's a sophomore, number 19, set up to have a big year. Patrick Payton got a little bit of gimpy after the spring game. I noticed it at practice yesterday, number 6. Jabari Butler also. And then you got Kalaj Cobbins and obviously Damian Shanklin, Dylan Carpenter, and C.J. Jackson. So LSU loaded at the edge rush. Defensive tackle, JP, we know that everybody was worried about the transition with Bo Davis going over to coach with the Saints. Seems like it's been a pretty smooth transition with Kyle Williams. I mean, who would want to listen to Kyle Williams? He's an undersized defensive tackle who played in the league for 13 years. Both Dominic McKinley and Ahmad Bro have had good camps. We didn't see McKinley yesterday. Sean Washington is back, and then they've got some big uglies coming in. Sadir Mitchell in the 360 range, Zion Williams in the 350 range, and so they've got some size. Linebackers, interesting, JP, to see what they're going to dial up once Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins gets back. And then in the safety right now, looks to me, Ashton Stamps, the returning junior at one corner. Mansour Delane from Virginia Tech, you're going to love him, number 4. And then safety's always an issue with LSU. Jordan Gilbert's been hurt, but you do have, of course, Javian Toviano, Tamarcus Cooley, who came over from the portal, Joel Rogers, and Deshaun Spears, number 10, who, if the light goes on for him, He's a guy that can bring the wood, and let's be honest, LSU's got to stop the run right up the A-gap. They've got to cover on the outside with their corners. P.J. Woodland and Michael Turner the second have done a good job, even though they're smaller guys. And then you got to be able to defend the ball over the top. And so I do think they will be appreciably better on defense, but still very much a work in progress. And, you know, Mike always tries to come up with a number, but if you ask me what LSU could go right now, folks, it could be anywhere from 8-4 to 10-2, 11-1, but you got to start better.
Yep.
And speaking of that, JP, let's go ahead and take our first time out. Once again, great to have you back on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and give you a little film and also let you hear from BK, Brian Kelly, on a Wednesday afternoon edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Anchored by the performance and reliability of the Civic and Accord, Honda has once again been named the best car brand for the 4th year running by U.S. News & World Report. Come see the lineup of award-winning Hondas at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
All right, so we had the sunglasses off for the respect for Kyron Lacey. Also, JP, tough weekend last week for LSU softball and baseball. Softball got swept at Texas A&M. Baseball got swept at Auburn. Before we get back into BK and let you hear what he had to say, JP, now after having 7 consecutive games on the road, they looked a little tired and didn't have the timely hitting, had a couple of opportunities with the bases loaded, didn't get anybody in. Still sitting in a good place at 10-5, but now the next 2 weekends hosting Alabama, who's lost 2 or 3 the last 2 weekends, and then hosting the Fighting Tony Vitalos. That's got to be the toughest ticket on the baseball schedule. when Vitello and Tennessee coming in here. Give me a quick assessment of what you think the Tigers will do at home in the next couple of weekends hosting Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah, certainly no time to panic for LSU fans. Coach Jay Johnson understands baseball's a long season. The SEC is a grind. Obviously, the SEC record for Auburn wasn't great, but they were still ranked 11th in the nation. That's a good baseball team that abused that big monster out in left field all series long. You mentioned the timely hitting. LSU left, I think, 26 runners left on base. You mentioned a couple times they had bases loaded, but I don't want to put it all on one kid because that's just not fair. Baseball's a team game, a lot of failure. But Derek Curiel has been the catalyst for the offense the entire season. He had a down series against Auburn, which I think led to a lot of the hitting woes. Obviously, hitting is contagious, and when you see your top guys that always get on base struggle to do so, it just kind of makes everybody get down. LSU wasn't able to get in rhythm and get that timely hitting, but absolutely not time to panic. The bullpen is looking pretty good for LSU. Starting pitching is always nothing to worry about. Obviously, Kate Anderson lost his first game this past weekend on Friday, but I don't think he's going to lose another game this year. Kate Anderson is that good. I think they sweep Alabama. I'll say it right now, at home, and they're going to go Northwestern that midweek game. All the focus is going to be on Tennessee, but got to take care of business. Did well last night. Jared Jones struggled against Auburn, but he went 3 for 3 last night. Him and Ethan Fry led the Tigers with 5 hits, 6 RBIs, 6 hits, 5 RBIs, excuse me. But not a time to panic. LSU's right where they want to be. You got to understand that baseball is a lot of ebbs and flows, and that's why there's so many games, because it kind of works itself out. The better players, the better teams rise to the top, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The college baseball world is going to be focused in on that series against the Volunteers next week. That right there at Tiger Stadium. So I think they sweep Alabama, get back on track, take care at Northwestern, and then all the focus will be on the Tony Vitalos coming to town, bud, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, look, it's all about timely hitting. The bullpen's been relatively good. Having Ben McDonald on the show today, Mike Scarborough also, once again, come back and listen to us on, of course, Pelican Sports Radio today, once again from 1 to 3. JP, there's been some conjecture, and before we get to BK, we'll kind of wrap up the spring. I'm not a big fan of playing other teams in these scrimmages with these spring games. Now, I did not see any spring games televised on the SEC network this year. Maybe there were 1 or 2, but I just see a de-emphasis on it. LSU didn't have a spring game. You always have a lot of injuries, and that's part of the problem. I was just looking through the roster, JP. 10 or 11 guys out with spring. That's when you get well. But BK did mention maybe in the future they would play a Southern. They would play a Nichols, a Northwestern State, or a Tulane or ULL in a spring game. Your thoughts on that? Is it worth the risk? And I always say this, the pros go practice, and the Saints might go practice with the Raiders and then play them in an exhibition game, but invariably in those practices, there's always fisticuffs and trash talking and people getting after each other. Yep. And so I can't imagine if you had a spring game and Nussmeier is going up against a third-team guy from Southern or Northwestern or whatever, and he wants to make a name for himself, and he hits late and knocks your quarterback out. I don't know. I just don't see the risk versus the reward. But what's your take on the future of these spring games?
Yeah, I completely agree, bud, man. It's the injury factor that's going to outweigh everything else. I mean, you want your guys ready for their start of the season. The only thing I liked about the idea was to set up some type of in-state practice scrimmage situation, a tune-up game for week 1, if you will. Obviously, it had to be super controlled. It wouldn't be like a real preseason game. You'd have to control it as much as you can to try to eliminate those injuries. But the only reason I did like it, or the thought of it, was to have LSU and Southern, which is so close, within 15 miles of each other, both in Baton Rouge. Would just be too convenient for the two teams. The whole town could get behind it. That's a really good way to start this season, by getting everybody together, ready for the football season. Obviously, but the injuries, bud, man, you hit the nail on the head. Is it worth it to have your quarterback go down in a air quotes around preseason game, a tune-up game that does not matter, but it could affect the rest of your season, especially with the millions of dollars that these kids are making this season? I agree with you. I don't see it happen just because of that injury standpoint.
I made this comment. By the way, if you want to see our practice reports, we've got one more tomorrow. You can go to LSU Tigers on Tiger Bait. And, JP, I made this comment, and a lot of the old timers, whether you're north of 50 or 60 or 70 or whatever, you're still following LSU. It is a new era. And JP, I don't know, you and I have been talking about other things more so than the sports world, but Nico, I'm going to be a lever is what I'm calling him now, because he came into Tennessee. Now, here's a guy in the bowl game, folks. You're at the end of the game, and he didn't have the wherewithal to throw the ball in the end zone. He literally ran out of bounds, and the game ended. And he goes in, sees Carson Beck getting $3 million at Miami, sees all these other guys getting this big dollar amount to play 1 year, and tells Tennessee, we got to renegotiate their deal. They gave him an $8 million deal for 3 years. Now he wants to go in and get $4 million, and that's when I say, bye-bye, Nico, and that's what Tennessee did. JP, I'm starting to worry that it really, really could get worse, and there are even overtures from some people that, hey, you're getting ready to get into the playoffs this year with 12 teams. A guy might go in and say, look, we had a hell of a year, but I need more money for the playoffs. I mean, the players right now are holding the coaches and teams hostage. You've got to coach with kid gloves. I'm not a fan of it, but that's the reality right now, JP.
Yeah, the inmates are running the asylum at this point, Bud, man. Props to Coach Heupel for saying, thank you for what you've done, but it's time to part ways with our program. We cannot have the locker room divided. And every other coach right now, you know there's GMs that were all over it. As soon as it happened, they knew what story was going to break before it happened. Nobody's touching Nico. And I promise you, when he winds up in Hammond, America at Southeastern, they're not going to pay him $4 million to be the starting quarterback. So it's an unfortunate situation. Obviously, the kid was a middle-of-the-pack quarterback in the SEC, does have talent. Who knows what he would have been if he'd have went somewhere that was outside of the SEC. All that's in the past now. Threw his dad under the bus for $80,000. They wanted to renegotiate or whatever that sort. There's a lot of dirty laundry right now with Nico. And like I said, he's like radioactive. No program wants to take him in because, yeah, it's going to split your locker room right in half. You know what he wanted. You know why he left. It was so public. Tough situation, but I applaud Tennessee and Coach Heupel for setting a standard and saying thank you for what you've done, but now we're time to move on. And that was on a guy named Sean. I'm going to be here for at least 4 years. That's that guy's name. Sean, I'm going to be here for at least 4 years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, you'd think it's easy coaching LSU football or any of those sports now. This is something that obviously we've got revenue sharing coming in here, hopefully in July when they rubber stamp that with the legal situation. But it is a hot mess, excuse me, right now. Here's BK, got about 10 or 11 minutes of what he had to say after the open scrimmage with the media Saturday afternoon in Tiger Stadium.
For our players today, we thought we'd have them talk on Thursday instead of today. Give them a few more days to kind of collect their thoughts and, obviously give them an opportunity as you know, the tragic passing of Kyron Lacey. We wanted to give our guys an opportunity to go through what has been a difficult time for them to, certainly it's a process for them, and the grieving and shock and certainly the disbelief. We wanted to give them some more time so you can understand why I'm standing here in front of you. I understand that, you want to get to those guys, but we're going to give them a couple more days, and then you'll get them on Thursday. So with that, any questions?
Coach, I guess, how do you help them process, I guess, what happened, not only, I guess, in the immediate aftermath of it, but in the days and weeks ahead, I suppose? Yeah,
certainly, I think everybody on our team has, in some way, had a relationship at different levels with Kyron. So, everybody is going to deal with it differently. First understanding that, right, that there's not one way that you're supposed to feel, right? And then, we lean heavily on our professional counseling department. Lakeitha Poole and her staff, we brought them in, and, having that resource here, allows for them to, seek out that one-on-one kind of conversation that some may need. And like I said, there were different relationships that Kyron had. Some were very, very close. Some didn't know Kyron at all. So, but you want to provide, the opportunity for your players to have those resources if, in fact, they do need them.
Just you personally, how will you remember him? He came here with you first year, right? He's been here the same amount of time you have. Just your thoughts.
Unfortunately, in my career, this is not the first time this has happened. Mental health is part of one of the facets of player development that you're working with in my field, and unfortunately it's happened before, and I never take a situation like this as one that could never happen. You're always on guard for it. Kyron was a bright star. He had an incredible personality. I'll remember him as somebody that had a love for the game, a love for being a Tiger, and was a guy that played with great emotion. When you think of Kyron, you're going to smile most of the time because of the way he handled himself. He was a guy that was full of energy. And I think a lot of his teammates will remember him that way as well.
Coach, how active do you expect to be in the portal coming up, and any positions that you might be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I like our roster right now. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't have anybody in the portal on either side, either leaving our program or adding. I would be, if you ask me right now, I would be happy to take this roster right into May, and on both sides of it. Maybe that's fool's gold. Maybe that's wishing more than anything else. But I like what we've done with this roster. I like the development of it. Not all of that is in my control, obviously. But I can tell you we're not like actively saying we got to have this, we got to have that. We feel good about our roster. If something shows itself that is an incredible opportunity, we're certainly going to investigate any time that we can help our football team. And so we're always going to be looking to help our team. But it's not like it was obviously in January.
Yeah, Coach. Nick Anderson was a guy that maybe was coming along a little bit slower at the beginning of spring, but really looks like the last couple of practices we've been out there, he's kind of ramped things up a little bit contact-wise. Just what's that process been like with him this spring, and how, I guess, healthy do you expect him to be going into the summer?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think your assessment is right on. I think he was a little slowed by an injury that was lingering. We just wanted to be patient with him. Nick's a smart kid. He knows his body. He's not a guy that you have to push and say, hey, get out there. When he's ready, he's going to go compete. I think he just has a maturity about him that you don't have to worry about. Nick, when he's ready, he's going to go. He's going to compete. And as he's gotten healthy, you can see the kind of presence that he has. He's big, he's physical, he's athletic. I'm excited about him. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to win some key one-on-one matchups for us with his physicality, in particular some of those one-on-one key third down matchups that you need. So it's nice to see him rounding into form as we get late here into spring practice.
Coach, over here. You said after Saturday you'd look at the tape and get a better idea of judging. If you could give us an assessment of what you saw, where you feel like you're at right now at this point in spring, especially with the 16 new portal guys. And secondly, how do you determine how much live scrimmaging you do versus thud? And do you feel like you don't hit as much? And obviously that first game you worry about tackling that first game, but how much hitting and live hitting, you happy with the physicality on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I am. I think we've done a really good job of kind of balancing that out and adding special teams for the first time in a live fashion, kickoff, punt. I haven't done that in, I can't remember. Probably when I wasn't smart enough to care is when I did it. So it was good to get that facet in. It gave us great evaluations of our players. There were a lot of things that we came away from that day in the stadium with just great evaluations on, defensive line, offensive line, the safety play. I could go across the board in a number of different areas where we felt really good. Running the football, clearly there's a presence at the edge position for us. It was a good day for us to evaluate all of the positions and know what our strengths and weaknesses are and what we need to continue to develop within our program. And, we walk away from that with even a better knowledge of where we've got to move some guys around in special teams, because I think that that's going to be a dynamic group for us, and that's going to help us win some football games.
Hey, Coach, I guess what was like the biggest surprise for you through spring? I know spring's kind of wrapping up, just something that's, I guess, improved on the most position group here. And second question, your thoughts on Colin Hurley as well, just returning back to the team, returning back to practice and his journey and just getting back.
Surprises, I just think overall, the understanding of, how to go out and compete in practice it has been really, for me, outstanding for the young guys to pick it up, like the Solomon Thomases and the Carriers Kearns. They've done an incredible job as young players coming in and understanding how to compete. The DJ Pickett's, all of our mid-year freshmen have come in and really have adapted so quickly. And I guess that's why they're mid-years, right? I mean, they're so far ahead of their freshman counterparts that it really does show why they were able to graduate early from high school, because they were much more mature. Those kids have done an incredible job of really blending in and showing that they belong right away. They're going to be so far ahead coming into camp relative to being able to compete. That's been kind of a surprise to me. This is the first class that I've had at mid-semester where it's not like, that guy is so far away. It just feels like they've been here, and that's been a bit of a surprise. It was great to see Colin out there today. He was involved in, and you guys saw, he was involved in some of the one-on-ones, and, man, he looks great physically. He's got an unbelievably strong arm. It was just great to have him back out there, and just to have him here on campus is just a blessing to get that young man back here and be in the kind of physical condition that he is just exciting.
And we welcome you back. Couple of tidbits to wrap up our football segment here, JP. Transfer portal, it starts today from the 16th all the way until the 25th. BK said not expecting to lose any. I wouldn't be shocked if they lose 3 or 4. These guys are third team, not getting any reps, I could see. But they got to have a place to go. And, of course, the good news, and we all needed that this weekend, is that Colin Hurley is back on the team. He came back on Saturday, looks good physically. And then, of course, I asked Coach Kelly about tackling. JP and I were talking during the break. Folks, you just don't know how your team is going to tackle that first game because, JP, in high school you got a jamboree. In the pros you got the exhibition game or two. This is a negative that the colleges don't have because you don't know what your team's going to look like, and tackling and special teams have been a big part of that first game fail issue the last 5 years.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Bud, man. There's a reason they call it football shape. It's because you only get in shape by playing football, and same with tackling. You can only practice tackling by going out there and tackle. Yeah, we both agree on that, but you try to keep your guys healthy. I completely understand. Got to be more physical week one, though. I don't know what you have to tell them in the morning, feed them for breakfast, but got to be super physical against Clemson come week one because cannot afford to drop the season opener again.
And, of course, that game we're hoping is going to be on 6:30. That is on the night. Hopefully it's going to be on the night of August 30th. Of course, the opening game that weekend, Ohio State hosting Texas. Arch Manning will be under the spotlight for that opening game. Ohio State, the defending, of course, college football champion. Quick timeout. We come back with more. Anissa Morrow goes in the same spot that Angel Reese went. Also, Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz going after each other earlier this week. Back with more on Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From the sportiness of the Mazda MX-5 to the engaging ride of the Mazda CX-5 to the luxury of the Mazda CX-90. Move and be moved in your new Mazda while saving thousands at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And, of course, as always, we welcome you back here on Tigers Roar. Hope everybody doing well. Look, Good Friday on this Friday, Easter Sunday. We hope that all of you and your family will be blessed and bring it in with all of those great products like Man Defined Meats with their ham, sausage, and Boudin. And, JP, we go down the highway of women's hoops. Anissa Morrow, is she a fit at the WNBA, undersized, but boy, to follow up Angel Reese with Anissa Morrow for 2 years, LSU fans have really been spoiled, haven't they?
Yeah, Anissa Morrow can't overstate what she did for the program. A walking double-double. You had mentioned the undersized, but she competed each and every night, tough as they come. We saw her in that Sweet 16, an Elite 8 game, hit right in the nose. Nose started bleeding. They thought it was broken, but as tough as they come. And very happy for her. 6 overall going to Connecticut. I think she does fit in WNBA just because the effort alone. I mean, that girl works hard, and she's as tough as they come, Bud, man.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the things, seeing if anybody got into the portal. LSU women did pick up a forward from East Carolina, and so a lot of action going on. JP, back to the money with Nico and the movement and not having to stay anywhere. Samaya Smith, in case you didn't hear, is going to play at Virginia and got a nice price to go over there for a couple of years, and that's what's going on right now. Is it getting to the point where they're going to get this under control because you're driving on the interstate without any speed limit right now, or do you think revenue sharing is going to make this a little bit more legitimate in the next couple of months with these guys getting contracts and everybody knowing what everybody's getting paid? But you know there's still going to be some under-the-table stuff. I had a buddy of mine the other day say, let me tell you, the bookies and the mob could get to these players the way they're doing everything for money. You could have some betting allegations in the near future. It's just a real precarious situation right now with all this money and all of these crazy movements because the NCAA always lives up to that acronym.
Yep.
No clue at all.
Yep. Yeah, Bud, man, you certainly hope that revenue sharing is going to put some type of cap, some type of limit. Explain to people out there how much these players are going to be worth in the transfer portal. One, before they get into the portal, maybe they're not leaving the situation anymore once they know, what they are truly valued at in the market. And that's what it has to be. There has to be a market set for these young men. Obviously, college footballs are making so much money. They've been able to afford a lot of under-the-table deals for over the years. And then when it became public to where it's an NIL, name, image, and likeness, so they didn't pay you for anything. Not only are they driving down the interstate with no speed limit, but, man, I think the headlights are off and they're blindfolded driving the car. It's just something is absolutely horribly going to happen. Nico is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, one kid from Tennessee, it gets a lot of publicity. SEC starting quarterback wants more money, but there's a ton of stuff happening behind the scenes. Threats of kids leaving, threats of kids holding out, not playing in the playoffs. There's a whole lot of things that the public doesn't even hear about that they absolutely have to get a cap on. This is no longer amateur college athletics. It's just semi-pro ball. You lose a tradition. You lose all the things you love about underdog stories, Cinderellas. That's all out the window to the wayside. Got to find a cap situation. Hopefully revenue sharing does at least make it make sense to the average viewer out there what the market is on these kids.
After the win last night, 10-3 over Louisiana Tech, the bottom line is McNeese, my bad. They beat Tech earlier a couple of days ago, but Jay Johnson gave us the bad news that Gavin Guidry is going to be out for the year.
Yep.
JP, a lot of back issues. Whether you're trying to play golf or baseball, you're pitching that back, as we know. And by the way, perfect time to give a shout-out to owner Alan Traylor, Bert Carson, all the people that have been working with us to get our technical stuff straight back, JP, Marty, Joe, everybody involved. Don, we appreciate everybody. But, look, that back is tender, and Gavin Guidry, I don't know if anybody expected him back because he just hadn't been part of it, and just a crazy back situation, and they're going to have surgery on Friday. So in case you missed it, Gavin Guidry won't be available for LSU and the bullpen this year.
Now, Bob, I haven't heard. Is he going to get another year of eligibility?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think that it's going to be hard for him to get drafted. No, he'll have plenty of opportunities, but you got to get well. By the way, let's give you a couple of minutes of a highlight with Anissa Morrow, and she got picked in the first round, the 7th pick with Connecticut. Here is the festivities with Anissa Morrow getting picked in the WNBA draft earlier this week.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Connecticut Sun select Anissa Morrow, Louisiana State University.
Well, Kim Mulkey applauding as Anissa celebrates after going 7 overall to the Connecticut Sun. And it's funny, Dre, you talk about the personality of the Connecticut Sun, and Anissa Morrow really fits into that mold of that tough grinder. Just an incredible collegiate career.
Well, when you think about drafting players, right, and when you think about a team that is starting new, you want to bank on the things you can count on, and you want to bank on what you know. And what does Connecticut know? They have a player that is going to work relentlessly. Undersized, maybe, but it has never mattered in her career. You know what to expect with Anissa Morrow. And even though opponents know what to expect from Anissa Morrow, they have not had an answer throughout her career. She is such a hard worker, skilled, can finish around the rim, works on the defensive end, can put the ball on the floor. She can also have potential to expand her game out to the three-point line, which will make her even more of a dynamic pro.
I'm really fascinated by Anissa Morrow in her game. She averaged just under 19 points a game this past season, 13.5 rebounds per game, led the nation in that, 5 offensive rebounds per game. This is a young woman who was only 6'1", but found a way to do it even against teams that had pro length. She has been incredible in her production throughout her career.
Second most double-doubles in D1 history, only Courtney Paris with more, and Anissa is with Holly Rowe.
Anissa, they say iron sharpens iron. And I look at the table that you're sitting at. Your parents were great athletes at Nebraska. Even your grandma Julia played basketball. How has this family poured into you to make you the athlete and competitor that you are?
Yes. They challenge me every day to work as hard as I possibly can. Growing up on the south side of Chicago was hard. And just continuing to push and thrive to be the best person that I possibly could be. Try to set that example for those behind me that's looking up. And they want to be able to accomplish what I have, and I feel like I've done a great job with that.
Your coach, Kim Mulkey, said something to me this year that was really interesting. She said, Anissa is not hungry, she's starving. Your work ethic is unparalleled. What can you be in the WNBA?
I feel like I could go in there and try to be unstoppable. I want to go up in there and work as hard as I possibly can and come in there as confident as I possibly can as well. And just learn from my bets. Be a sponge and learn as much as I can.
And, of course, everybody knows about her records with all the double-doubles. Look, Amaya Joyner is the young lady that's coming over from East Carolina, 6'2". But, JP, I'll throw you a little curveball here. I've had discussion on the show on all of the mediums that we broadcast on. Angel Reese, Anissa Morrow. Who's the better player?
Oh, wow. I'm taking Anissa Morrow each day of the week, twice on Sunday. Just a work ethic alone. Quiet as they come, but tough. Doesn't require all the attention off the court, at least that's what she's shown here at LSU. Just a walking double-double. Very talented finisher around the rim. Can't say that about Angel Reese. Angel Reese, a good defender, has length, gets a lot of rebounds off her own misses. But I'm taking Anissa Morrow each day of the week, bud, man.
I'm taking Angel Reese for the brand. I'm taking Angel Reese for the McDonald's combo and all that she's done off the court. Was a fantastic rebounder. Anissa Morrow is a better outside shooter. And we shall see, in case you missed it, Haley Van Lith, who finished up at TCU after having 1 year at point guard at LSU, also got picked by the Chicago franchise. So we'll see if those two will mesh again. But it's going to be interesting. Everybody expects Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers to get back, and they were close this year. But they've got to get another big or two and certainly some better point guard play. We wrap it up with a little talk about the NFL draft. Believe it or not, it is a week from tomorrow. That and Skeens and Dylan Cruz with their showdown earlier this week as we wrap up our final break right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we welcome you back. A very quick show as always. Buddy Songy in the house along with Jonathan Poche. JP, let's get right into it. The Saints are picking at number 9. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about Derek Carr. And so let's go back, since I asked you the tough question about Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow. Now I got to ask you, JP, Saints don't have a history and a propensity to draft Tigers. But if Will Campbell's at number 9, do you take him, JP?
Oh, absolutely. I'd take Will Campbell if he's at 9. There's no doubt about that. Quarterback's not real hot in this draft. Next year's draft class should be a lot better as far as the quarterback play is concerned. Derek Carr comes out, says it's a significant shoulder injury. Of course, it might require surgery, but haven't found out which shoulder. Obviously, if they're telling us it needs surgery, it's going to be on the throwing arm. How did he get hurt? How severe is it? Nobody really knows at this point, but it leaves the Saints really scrambling at that quarterback room. A guy they thought had a lot of experience is going to be at the quarterback spot for him. Now you have Spencer Rattler or whoever you draft. So it's going to be interesting what the Saints do. In my opinion, number 9 is not for Shedeur Sanders, a guy that won 13 and 12, didn't win a bowl game, never competed for a conference championship at Colorado. I don't buy him as a 9th overall pick in this NFL draft. So if you don't have a player better than him on your draft board, trade down. Get some more picks. Start this actual rebuild. Start getting some young players that can come in on rookie contracts and contribute to the goal for the black and gold. In my opinion, trade it down. Get as many draft picks as you can and look forward to next year when you can draft a talented quarterback.
Mickey Loomis should have his draft show sponsored by a funeral home because they've got more dead money with the Saints than anybody in the league, and they continue this Carr situation with this contract was absolutely ridiculous. Like a lot of my buddies who are Saints fans, we want to see the Saints driving a new car this year. Wrapping it up, once again, softball and baseball. Don't forget, baseball bout out at the box tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I think that game is on ESPNU. Gymnastics, once again, Thursday and Saturday. If they advance out of the top 2 out of the 4, they will be in the finals in Fort Worth on Saturday. And, JP, we give you the final 30
no,
seconds.
bud, man, you got it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and predict it. We ask about this question all the time. I like the Lady Tigers if they can stay on the beam and nail their landings. I like Jay Clark and the Lady Tigers defending and winning the Natty. Don't know what time that thing would end on Saturday, but would be a great thing. JP wanted to sweep from Bama. I'll take 2 or 3. As always, we'll be back real soon. Appreciate all of our sponsors. Appreciate Marty and JP. See you next time right here on Pelican Sports TV.